Hello there, and welcome to the second episode of my gameplay series for Book of Hours. In the last episode, we have made friends with the people that are living in Brancroc Village. We've met everybody here for the first time. We've found our friend Denzel the Smith, and we've made our introductions with everybody else, and this wonderful library is ahead of us. So, last time I have unlocked the gatekeeper's house, and when we zoom in really up close, we see all the contents of these. And this is where the game gets really interesting. So everything in here can be inspected and interacted with, at least as long as it is working out like that. There's workstations in here, and there's also items that we can use in various ways. What's really important and interesting here is the Hush House key, because that is the thing that allows us to enter the actual library. In here we have many different things: bread, tea, plants, candles, and most importantly, books. So these books are at first uncatalogued, and after that we can catalog them, and then we can see what these books' contents are. So we have books from different epochs. The Curia, the Nocturnal, and the Baronial epoch are there. And to interact with these, we put them on the eye, and then we lock a soul fragment on them, and then we can catalog them. This book was probably written around the time of Hush House's baronial period, roughly 1500s to 1700s. If I examine it, I can learn more about what knowledge it might contain. Books from this period are only rarely contaminated. Here's also one really interesting aspect: contaminated books. We're not going to see them anytime too soon. While this is being worked on, we can enter the great gate of the house. The walls of the house tower above me. I had been told that it was abandoned after a fire, but there is no sign of any such thing. The building will no doubt need restoration, but it's in better shape than I'd feared. Books are the memory that does not die, reads the inscription above the gate. So, since we have the key, it will be an easy thing to open it up and enter the library for good. So let's speed up a bit, and let's see what kind of book we have found here. So, A Shape in Smoke, Ambrose Westcott's exposition on tobacco blending and the oracles of the pipe. So books have various stats. First of all, that's their price, that's the mystery, that means how many points of a certain aspect we need to allocate to actually read that book. So 8 points of forge would be necessary. And here are a couple of general traits about this book. Wonderful. So I cannot catalog more books for right now because I don't have any fragments of my soul that are in fatigue. So we have to see what this part here uncovers. There we go. So we have now uncovered the Watchman's Tower, the gatehouse. Back in the 11th century, Brian of Brittany built the tower and its gate to protect St. Brendan's Abbey, as Hush House was then known. Later, the barons the Wolf strengthened the gate against their many enemies. But it's a long time now since Hush House was any kind of fortress, and by the time the scholars of the Curia took possession, this place had long been a comfortable waiting room for visitors to the house too minor to merit immediate attention. So this is basically the description of a waiting room. So we have various pieces of furniture here, and if you might ask yourself, what the hell should I do with these? There are various ways of utilizing furniture, busts, pictures, and even red deer antlers. But for now, there's nothing really important in here. What we have discovered now, though, are the adjacent rooms. So we can now go for the gatehouse stairs. With some forge aspect or lantern aspect, we might be even able to repair that. And over here, we will need some lantern or nectar aspect. That's a new one that we haven't encountered yet. But since our friend Denzel happens to be the local smith, I'm going to utilize his forge aspect one more time. I still have a sliver of health left, so we're going to employ this good old chap and we're going to let him help here with that problem. So, the gatehouse stairs. The stairs to the room above are blocked with debris, and the plaster is peeling from the walls. I'll need help from the village to clear and restore the place. So, here, clearly, that's a job for a blacksmith. And I deem myself quite lucky that we have this friend. It will be a little bit more complicated to get these aspects together, but we'll see what we can do. So, the Watchman's Tower, first floor. The notorious Eva de Wolf, first and last Baroness of Brancrook, liked this room because this side of the house carried fewest memories of her poor father, Valentine, so she could eavesdrop on the conversations of visitors waiting below, or just because of how the pale light slanted through the windows in the last days of winter. So, every room has a history, and the people that once inhabited this place have done a lot of funky things. These mysteries are an essential part of the game, and we are going to do our best to uncover them over the course of the time. So let's see, what kind of aspects do I have available here? I'll need lantern or nectar. So none of my personal skills feature these. That's a tad bit sad. So let's see, what can I do here actually? So we'll need some edge skills. So let's see, let's put some metal in. I can master this mystery. So as you see here, all the challenge we had was to figure out that we have to put some edge into this book. Well, that's easy enough. Let's see what that'll do. Oh, and we also have uncovered the next floor, which will require some grail and some sky. Or some sky, I should rather say. Well, let's see. Let's see what we will find in our journal, though, first. I'm really curious to find out. Also, we could catalog a few new books today. So, well, there's nothing happening here. The cataloging of books would go for the same slot here, so we cannot do anything right now. So, what did we master? Lesson, wolf stories. Oh, I gained my first skill. I've gained more understanding of wolf stories, and we also gained lessons about the Ragged Crossroads. Okay, so we have now found our first skills. These will go here. A lesson can be transformed into skill. So let's do this. The wolf stories will be taken into consideration. A new skill. Sometimes we eat the wolf, and sometimes the wolf eats us. Now, that doesn't sound like a dark foreboding thing, doesn't it? So, let's see. We got now that new thing, the wolf stories, and that's now a new skill that we can use. And as you see, skills also have aspects, and more importantly, they also have these things here. Bird Song and Skolakosophi. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Skolakosophi? I don't know. Skolakosophi? Choose to your own liking. We're going to learn the Ragged Crossroads now as well, to understand why 4 paths were not taken. So, here we got another thing, and this skill brings us edge and winter. So, we got moon and scale, and edge and winter. That's a good start. So, to put this a little bit less into gameplay terms, the moon is about nightly things and forgotten things. Scale is mostly earth. Yeah, earth things, basically. And edge, we already went over that in the last episode. That's the principle of battle and struggle, so it's a quite deadly thing. And winter, well, the principle of silence, endings, and of those things that are not quite dead. That means it is also the principle of undeath. So each skill here is also linked to skills. Illumination. Here, the Skolakosophi, whatever. We will find these on this wonderful Tree of Wisdom. So, the Tree of Wisdom is where we learn new skills, and most importantly, we unlock new fragments of our soul. So the first slot will be taken by our journal, the Roots of Memory. So we assign that, and we gain a new fragment of our soul, Trist, the change and the longing. So this has Moth aspect. Moth is wild. Moth is the wild and perilous principle of chaos and yearning. So it's a really, really weird aspect, and you will notice the longer this playthrough goes. So every one of these skills, as you see here, can go into another one of these highlighted things. So that's either Birdsong or Skolekosophy. Skol, whatever. The study of things that should not be studied. Some call this wisdom. Or we can also learn music, riddles, and miscellanea. Less wisdom, more a body of gossip hallowed by accretion. So by assigning these skills somewhere, we don't really alter those skills, but we gain a new reward for that. When we assign that, we gain a new fragment of our soul, a rep. Pride, compassion, hatred, and fear. So now we have a couple of new aspects at our disposal. That's Grail. The principle of the Grail honors both the birth and the feast. This is also the occult energy that vampires and cannibals like to go for. And the Ragged Crossroads, as you see here, can only go here into the, what's that, Illumination. So we're going to go for that and unlock a new fragment of our soul as well, unlocking Faust. Sight, perception, inspiration, all the glorious gifts. So we are now way more complete than we were. So these skills are now locked to this, to this art. This will be of importance later. Right now, it doesn't mean more than unlocking new fragments of our soul here that we can use, which is quite good because we can make good use of that. So another thing that we got here is we have these lessons here still available for us. So we should make good use of these. With lessons of skills that we have already learned, we can upgrade skills, but more about that in a hot minute. It's right now not the time for that because we lack something. We lack some kind of memory that has either edge or winter, and that's really important, as far as I can see. Okay, so, or wait a second, no we don't. Actually, I realized that I'm wrong about that. We can upgrade that right here. So we put that into the consideration. The effort slot must contain one of those two traits, so either edge or winter. Check. Now, on the understanding slot, we must always put a lesson that contains one of these aspects. So that means we got that. And here, we also need to put a memory that shares these aspects, but we can also take another lesson. That will be okay for now. You could, like, save some lessons by putting in memories, but we're not going to go that way. I want to upgrade the Ragged Crossroads ASAP. And by upgrading these, we increase the numbers here, which allows us to beat tougher challenges. Speaking about challenges, we got the Cloistered Garden to unlock, which we could now with the lantern aspect that we gathered, or we could go for the top floor of the Watchman's Tower. We will require 2 things of Grail, which we currently don't have. So we're going to go this way. So back to Brancroc we go. Let's have a little talk with Denzil. Put a little bit of our charm into this. And now we talk about the sunshine with Denzil. Using your weather like this also uses it up, so use it wisely. You only get 1 weather card per day. But now, our good old friend Denzil has Lantern aspect, so he can unlock the Cloistered Garden for us. I can make out a green and shaded space, but it's choked with weeds and thorns. I'll need help to clear the space. So that's what he'll do. Meanwhile, let's use our soul fragments that we got to catalog those books. Every soul fragment can be used to catalog the books. So that is really a good thing because we still have 2 more fragments left to go. The Karisham Portolan, a beautifully illustrated and heavily annotated Portolan, a nautical atlas of ports and destinations. So we will require 6 Moon Mystery to read that, and I can't wait to read my first book here, but first we need to catalog these. You cannot read something when you don't know what it is, and reading books is a major challenge in this game. Of course, it's a library game, but one thing at a time. St. Brandon's Cloister. The sisters and brothers of the abbey built these gardens in the 13th century at the height of the period we now call Solar Gothic. Walk here a while and breathe the peace they left. So this room here offers only interactable bushes where we can collect plants as soon as we have the according skill, which we don't currently. So Cucurbit Prisoner Records 1928. Accounts by Governor Coller's private secretary of interventions and experiments in the last years of Cucurbit Prison, focusing particularly on the hill children, wild wood things that have found shape in the physical world. Okay, so this game really puts in the occult and mysterious things right where you don't expect them. It is a book that requires 12 scale mystery, so that's a lot. That's really a lot. So we won't be reading this one for a while. Okay, but we have now cataloged these books and a new day is dawning. So we can unlock this one with 3 lantern aspect or a bit of winter. And let's just wait for a moment and see what weather we'll get today. So clouds. Moth or moon? Let's see what we got here. So this requires edge and nectar. Well, we probably could. And this one requires 3 knock or 3 rose. Neither of these is really easily acquirable for us right now. At least not out of our memories or skill or soul fragments. So let's see if we can't get ourselves some of these. This looks doable. So do we have Grail or Sky? It's boiling down to things like these quite often, but here we have 1 skill that offers 2 Grail, so perfect. Let's ask Denzel and teach him what he needs to do, but we really got to save that Areb for his work. Then let's get started again. This way we're unlocking the library bit by bit, and that will give us new opportunities to read those books at some point. Because all those items we are finding will help us, ultimately. Right now, we're in the phase where we're unlocking many things and the like. But we will be working with what we got here pretty soon. Because of that, I will start cataloging more of these books so we can start looking for the easiest of those so we can read them soon. Reading books is the way to acquire new skills. Skills help you to read books. And, the more books you read, the more skills you have, the more mysteries you can unlock of the journal, which will be basically the main story of the game. So what do we have here? Musgrave's Sketches. Musgrave, 4th Baron Brancrook, was widely mocked as the Bleating Baron or the Lamb the Wolf, but these sketches reveal a complex, somber inner life. That's a winter book, so it's probably showing not the friendliest side of this man, but more about that when we read them. The most fascinating part about this game is the fact that you actually can read all those books and you get more details about the things that you get hinted at here. So we are going to restore the top floor of the Watchman's Tower. The ceiling bows worryingly under a damp patch. There must be a leak in the observatory. The sun above knows what state it's in. I should seek help and enter carefully. I find that quite fitting to let that get repaired by the smith. Alright, what do we have here? The Reticle Measure glossed. The original Reticle Measures was a manifesto for experimental poetry with occult properties. written in the 19th century by Dr. Aaron Peel. The original is notoriously incoherent. Much later, Christopher Elapoli took on the task of editing and glossing it. He has taken some liberties, but the updated version is generally well regarded. So, 12 Rose Mystery. Ouch. We're so far away from reading these books that come with difficulties in the double digits. We're looking for books whose difficulty lie at 4 or 6. That's what we're looking for right now. A telescope. That's not too unexpected when we're going for an observatory. Thomas the Wolf, second Baron Brancrook, who they call Baron Silence, built this observatory in 1576 by happy coincidence, just in time to observe the passage of the Great Comet in 1577. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was just a coincidence. The Other Line, one of Samuel Savage's more thoughtful works, an allegorical play about the city Clarity, a city that is also a book, and the sentences which inhabit it. Most importantly, though, this is a hard mystery book that has a much lower difficulty level. Beautiful. So I'll separate that from the other books by putting it into my inventory. This might be actually one of the very first books we are reading. Alright, so I still have a little bit of my abilities left for today. So that's what we're doing here. And another thing I noticed, I think it's time to write all friends from St. Ronwen's Trust that we got ourselves. Well, alright. I can reply to this from a writing desk. I say. I need to, of course. Luckily, we have found here in the Watchman's Tower Eva's writing desk, so we can actually work with that. Okay, so to do that, we put the papers in here, and we need to add in some ink here. So we're going to use this ink. It's not a high quality ink, but it's good enough. And well, we don't have a soul card left to put into this. So tell you what, we're going to go and put our Shapt into recovery, have a hearty meal at the local Sweet Bones, and we're going to have the answer there, because I think it is about time to let our superiors know that the library is open and back in business again. From that point on, we will receive visitors, and I can't wait to see what kind of visitors there'll be. A lot of the game is actually randomized. That means you really don't necessarily know what, oh, I can't work. It's the wrong aspect of my soul. It doesn't correlate with this workplace. Whoopsie. Well, we're going to do that tomorrow then. Letters from a Fugitive. Lars Westergren, explorer and murderer, spent 7 years escaping justice through his knowledge of byways and shortcuts in the bounds. Throughout that time, he wrote regularly to his daughter, possibly in part to taunt his pursuers. So, I'm going to gloss over these covers, but we're going to go deeper later with these. So this day will end. I haven't used this weather for today, but that happens quite often. The Barrow Child's Elegies. That's another difficulty 10 book. So I'm going to go over the contents of these books when we're actually reading them, because I just realized that by the time that we're taking these books into our reading space, most of us will not even remember what they were about anymore. So we're going to refresh our knowledge back when we're going to read them. The wonderful part about these books is if you come from Cultist Simulator, it's basically all the books from Cultist Simulator are included in this game. It's a beautiful feeling. We got the Gale today, so that's a lot of heart and sky influence. We totally should use that one way or another. So let's see, can this help us with exploring this place today? I don't see any any place where it would be. Okay, that's not too much to worry about. So first of all, I want to know, do I have a soul card that vibes with this place? Beautiful. So we're going to write our answer today, finally. An enigmatic reply to St. Ronwin's Trust. What can we do here? A pragmatic reply? Or a charming reply? That sounds like the character that I've chosen. The journey was difficult, but nothing could keep me from the house, and the place is everything I had imagined, or will be once I've restored it to its old glory. Yeah, that's how I want to put it out to my superiors. That sounds like I'm full of myself. Great. So we have now a new memory. Beautiful. And we have a reply to the trust. And we are going to go and send that to the postmistress. So let's see. How much money do they want from me? Oh, well, let's overpay this thing just and take the change. I didn't want to jump over that screen there. Oh well, whatever. Okay, we've sent off the letter and we're going to get a response soon. Okay, so let's see. We got some Grail knowledge, and here we got a hard book. Let's see. To read this book, we need to allocate 4 points of heart. So let's see. Do I even qualify for that? I don't know. Do I have any aspects on me that have this? So my health has 1 point of heart. That's good. That gives us already 1 point. This one has another point that gives us 2 points, but our skills don't suffice, so we could try to get lucky here, but judging from my experience, that is not necessarily a wise way to do this, so we're going to catalog more books for now, and let's see what we will find. So here we got ourselves a Lantern 8 Prophecies of Glory. That sounds pretty delightful. Looking forward to read that. But for now, I really hope that we're going to find some of the easier books. I should get back to the gatekeeper's house and see what I can find there. The Republic of Teeth, an eccentric political tract by Valentine de Wolf. Well, that sounds surely interesting. Alright, so for now, I'm trying to get an overview about all the books. Books are very important, especially when we get our first visitors. They want to have some books according to their interests, so I'm working hard on that. The Fallen Cross, Mystery 6 Skybook. Okay. Let me know in the comments if you would prefer to know what these books are about before we actually read them. I just figured that I want to cross the space a little bit more thoroughly. Oh, that is a what's it called? An infested book. Actinic Theoplasma. This book has suffered the attention of one of the bright names or hours, the gods from light. This contamination can affect your foster tryst. Alright, so we need to cleanse that book before we can read it. But cleansing books, yeah, well, that'll take a while until we get to these kinds of business. So let's see. We got The Traveling at Night Volume 1. 4 points of knock. Well, I don't really have any points in this department left, so none of these books is a easy point to start with either. Oh well, that's a tragedy, I'd say. So we don't have anything to go for today for now. Too bad. Let's see, can I explore any of these rooms with what I got left here? So, well, I got Lantern, so I could try myself there. I know that the Reverend has Lantern skill by himself, so we could utilize that. We totally could utilize that. I would need 3 knock or 3 rose. I have neither of these. So, let's see. We're going to do this. The Reverend is still available, but we'll need something else here first. So, well, knock or a lantern. He's really a picky person. Well, okay, we're going to do this. So, we're going to have to donate this man a little bit of our money to convince him to work with us. A shilling is necessary. And now we have, let's see. We'll require, what, 1 point of lantern extra? Or 2? I forgot. 1. So we should be capable of getting this done by just giving him a candle or something. Or we just give him that mirror scope. If you click there, you see the interactable items for that guy, and the mirror scope is actually providing lantern. So I'm only lending this tool to him so it doesn't get used up or anything like that. But this way we get a little bit more out of our day, and I personally like to fill my days with as much progress as I can. So, the Long Tower. The Long Tower looks like it's been abandoned much longer than 7 years. In the nocturnal period, the inhabitants probably spent most of their time on the seaward side of the isle. I'll need help to restore the room above. So, let's see what mysteries we got in here, and that'll be the end of episode 2. So we got a few more books in here, and this is Solomon's Study. In 1818, the very Reverend Solomon Husher became third librarian of the Curia of the Isle. He took rooms in the Long Tower as his quarters. Husher's tastes were Spartan. Although the Curia generally liked a little more luxury, no one ever quite dared to redecorate the place after his disappearance. So here we found a couple of items, candles, most importantly, another desk to work at, and every desk has different aspects. So Solomon Husher's desks has completely different aspects compared to Eva the Wolf's, and that's one thing where we will sink our teeth into the next time. So I thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy yourselves as much as I do, and next time we will get ourselves deeper into the library, and with some luck we might be actually savoring our first books in there. Can't wait. I hope you guys will be around next time as well. And until then, leave a comment, leave a thumbs up, leave a subscription, or check out, or ideally do all of these things, and check out the playlist link down there leading to the episode 1 and the remaining episodes of this playthrough. See you guys next time, and thanks for watching.